What's up, everybody? It's your boy TGK back with another reaction video. Today we're going to react to a video from the YouTube channel called The Dumb Zone. This has been a highly requested video. Definitely excited to see what we're about to see here today. I'm talking about this is the most requested video I've had so far in my reaction, video journey. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, enough of the fluff. Let's get to the stuff and let's get this reaction going. If you don't mind dropping a like, subscribing, consider becoming a member, all that good stuff. Let's go and let's get it going. Oh crap, oh, slipping and sliding over here. All right, so the title of the video is Nico Harrison Wanted Control Over Luka, a look at Tim McMahon's new book, The Dumb Zone. All right, let me see what else they got. They got 13,000 subs, 15K views for this. All right, let's go ahead and check it out, man. Let's go and check it out. All right, here we go.
All this is about at every level is control. And TC put it perfectly that this morning when we talked about it, just like what Tim McMahon is doing is telling both sides of a story, which is fair. But the Nico and Mav side of the story is simply just ego. And it's really just, if you don't mind me saying, Nico Harrison is just a giant pussy.
Whoa!
Because when these things...
Hold on. Whoa. Oh, I was not ready for that. I was not ready for that. Woo. Hold on. Let's run that back. Play it again.
But the Nico and Mav side of the story is simply just ego. And it's really just, if you don't mind me saying, Nico Harrison is just a giant pussy.
God.
Because when these things come up at work, you can be an adult about it. You ever worked with somebody that you maybe didn't get along with all that well personally?
Of course.
Kind of figure it out because you both want the same thing?
Yeah.
Like to keep your job and to
You
make
end up
money
having to
and
kind of talk together.
have success.
Yeah, I
you
don't
know?
like it. It's uncomfortable.
Yeah, well, that your job, you've been hired to do this radio show or to be the steward of this basketball team. There's going to be people you don't like. Probably going to be a pretty good chance that you get cucked every now and then. And you're going to take it because that's your job. And adults work out conflicts with people that they don't like without being cowards about it. And he's just being a giant fucking coward about it.
Damn. I have not heard or seen the rest of the book. I have seen some tweets about from, I think it was, who was it? I think it was Kirk Henderson. He had dropped a couple of tweets about it, and in his tweets he just talked about the end of it, where it's just like he's baffled about how egomaniac Mr. Nico Harrison was, right, about wanting control or wanting to have control over Luka and the Mavs. Like, it's absolutely insane that someone thought he could come here and do such a thing. And the fact that, see, here we go. I could pull it up for y'all. Hold on. Give me a second. All right, so here it is. It says, I finally got around to the final chapter, the additional chapter to the McMahon book. Nico will now see basketball heaven. He wanted to be the guy, the reason Dallas won. His way or no way. I can't wait till he's fired. He should never work in basketball again. That is crazy. And I don't know how the end of this book is. Like, did he add to it? He's a reporter of reports, investigates, finds out. Okay. Man, that's crazy. That's crazy. Like, the more and more stuff comes out, the more it's like, oh, this is all influenced by Nico. Like, but that goes without saying, That goes without saying. All right, let's get back to this video. Let's go.
Because every one of these things, there's a point where communication could have happened. And at worst, the communication is Nico says, I can't deal with this guy. I don't like it. But that's part of it.
And I remember we've talked about this trade at length, and I always said, if you cannot communicate with your superstar, that is a reflection of your lack of professionalism. Like, if you're not able, if you're not able to come up with these things and to be able to have a harsh conversation, like a heart-to-heart, a hard conversation, these are things that happen in the corporate world, in the professional world. But in this situation, it's a sports team. Like, you should be able to have a really good approach and a really good level of communication with your superstar player, but they don't have that. Why they don't have that is baffling to me. And the fact that they didn't want to talk, that they couldn't get to him, like you make it work, bro. Like you put the franchise before you put you before the franchise. And Nico did a whole disservice to this entire city, bro. This should have never happened. Ever. It should have never happened.
I just don't like it. I don't like that he's over there doing his own work. Tim says that during that time when he was working out over to the side by himself, he how does he describe it? That the team had trouble getting access to his MRI results from his European trainers. And I'm like, again, these people are European. They're probably not responding to your every beck and call. We're in a very like Wall Street culture here where you're like, get back to me with my email in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
They don't always do that. And they said that when he was working out, they wanted him over focused with team activities. And he was like, no, I'm working out. So fault on his side, I don't know. But it's tough for me to fault Luka for feeling alienated when he was systematically alienated. Like they engineered an entire chain of events to piss him off. And the first time he was like, I don't know, dude, I'm going to work out with these guys. The guys who had me put up 33 points on 37 minutes in 100 games last year, I'm going to work with them because I don't trust you. Well, when that happened, Nico and Kid got together and said, don't like this. They're pissed off. And that's when McMahon goes into like, hey, look, Kid played 19 years and was obsessed with longevity. I'm like, I seriously doubt he was at 24.
Yeah.
25. But it's fun now to talk about Jason Kidd like he was,
It's like they ran from the problem.
Exactly. That's what I mean. It's cowardly.
Confronting the problem. And also, though, I mean, part of this calculation is just not – how could you X's and O's not understand basketball? Like, I think Anthony Davis is very good. But, again, 5 years older – or is it 4? 4?
No,
5?
it's 5. It's a full 5, almost 6.
5 years older and a different position. Like, the usage of Luka, that's the thing. Again, it's the quarterback. Maybe you can call it the quarterback versus the wide receiver.
It's also
to call him a tight end might be diminishing it a little bit.
I think your wide receiver tight end is a good comp. It's also he's not getting better.
Yeah, but or it's a defensive line, something. Yeah, something that's really not the same at all. In fact, maybe edge rusher is the best thing.
Sure, okay.
You're great at defense. You're the best edge rusher in the game. But you would never trade straight up the best quarterback for the best edge rusher in the game.
Not unless you had another one.
Right.
And you don't, if somehow randomly, you're the Thunder.
And that's
basically, right? You've got KD, Durant, and Harden. Okay.
Go back to, at least as critical as Cuban can get about this is that they didn't get enough of a haul. Because that's the main thing.
Yeah, there's
when Rudy Gobert was traded, you're like, oh my gosh, 5 firsts?
Yeah.
Clearly, you got a player that you would consider worth a couple of firsts, but you just got to get way, way, way more.
Yeah, and there's a lot of talking here.
Like you have to get pieces that say that everybody nods. Bill Simmons, Tim McMahon, all the real NBA people, Windhorst, everybody nods and says they're really the favorites now for the next couple of years. Now, these players that they acquired, they somehow got KD, AD, and something else. And they're like, wow, this is a team that right now Vegas is going to jump out and say they're the favorite to win it all.
They got
for the next 3 years. But that's what you're trading for, the long-term possibilities of building your whole franchise and all that.
The way that what's his name?
And they didn't do that, yeah.
Kirk Goldsberry put it to us was there should be a guy wearing a superstar in 2031 wearing a Mavericks jersey because of this trade. Like a superstar that you've probably had to spend 3 first-round picks to acquire by just taking shots or moving up. There will not be. There will not be.
No.
So that's a lot of it. There is some talk of, like you said, the reaction from other GMs. Unsurprisingly, Tim's like, I haven't talked to one that thought this was good. They're all hitting me up independently, like, what the F are they thinking? This is insane. The line Tim kept using was he heard, I can understand wanting to be out of the Luka Doncic business, but you don't do it for this. And that was like one or two execs he talked to. I thought you would enjoy this part of it because it involves Pelinka. When he's tracing the meeting at the coffee place and everything, this is far from the first time that Harrison had broached the idea of trading for Davis. But it was the first time that he piqued Pelinka's interest. Doncic had never been part of the discussion before. Quote, that sped things up, a source familiar.
Of course it was speeded up, man. Of course it was speeded up. Man. Like I know Tim McMahon released that book, and I know there's been a promo run. Everyone's been covering it. But, if I don't know. I don't think Tim McMahon has done any favors to make the fans of Dallas feel like, he had the team's best interest at heart, and especially with Luka. But to have this and be able to shine light on the egocentric maniac that Nico Harrison is, not has become, is, it's just so unfortunate that the Mavericks unfortunately hired someone that did not give a damn. And they did this because it was their call. It's sad, bro. It's sad.
Yeah, no, I could see that. But I thought the most telling quote that really kind of sums up the final chapter is from a Mavs official. We enabled him for years because we were scared of him eventually wanting to leave. At the end of the day, we shipped him off because he became the very thing that we created.
I have to think of that. I have to sit on that. Pause. You were scared that he would leave, and you had to ship him away because he became the very thing you created. Look, and let this be a lesson for anyone out there. Communication is so vital, and communication is so key, man. Communication is everything. And although you could have built this monster, quote unquote, right? There's a way you could keep the monster in check, Just communicate with the damn monster, bro. Like that monster wanted to win. That monster wanted to be here. The monster wanted to get paid. So you have conversations, and you got to have hard conversations. Pulling beers away from him? No. Getting people that he respects involved in the organization? Oh, I don't know. Maybe that'll work, right? You could have brought, Dragic here. You could have hired Dirk. You could have brought people that he respected and had them around the team, and to install the culture that you wanted to install to where it keeps Luka not only happy but motivated. Like, Nico, this don't gotta be about you, bro. It never had to be about you. And all this is it's whatever now, right? It's really gonna fall on deaf ears. It don't matter. None of this means anything anymore because it's done. But it just goes to show that a professional organization. Yeah, they're an organism, a virus. A professional organization as big as an NBA team can show you that they do not have the professional chops to be able to handle talent. Like I've been in many key roles where I've had to be a part of handling talent, motivating talent, and being able to get talent that's in a bad spot out of that spot and make them and motivate them. It's all about communication, bro. At the end of the day, you got to appeal to what they need, but you also got to tell them what you need from them. It's got to be, you got to there's got to be a give and take relationship, man. You got to sacrifice a little bit for them to sacrifice. And especially in the NBA, you probably have to sacrifice a little bit more to get that superstar to do what you want him to do. But even then, you got to paint it in the idea that it's his idea. Who gives a fuck if it's your idea, Nico? Who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck if it's your idea, Nico? No one's going to give a fuck. You'll get the ring, you'll get the credit, but no one's going to be like, oh, Nico. You were already getting the praise, bro. You were already getting the praise. People had, in Nico we trust. Like, we all feel foolish for even trusting your dumb ass. You egomaniac, stupid motherfucker, bro. God, man.
Damn.
Now, that's from their point of view. I can line up
that
for
we
you.
created this monster.
That he's this monster. Now, I can line up for you.
Is the Dumb Zone, are they from Dallas? Because I see a lot of Ranger gear, Dallas Mavericks talk. Like, I see stuff on the little board back there. Like, I've never heard of the Dumb Zone. Salute to them, man. Salute to them. I like this. Bring me on the show, man.
Maxey, Keefe, Quentin Grimes, I don't know, Dorian, anybody who's ever played with the guy who's like, guy's baller. That's it. We're not worried about what he's doing during practice, and to the extent that we are, he practices hard or he makes us better. You got to have some descent from somewhere else to support.
You know what? It was a weird locker room. We'd walk on eggshells. We'd do somebody.
And I don't expect that from like PJ right now, but you need more. And you need Dirk. Dirk is now on the record as of the other day saying, I had absolutely no issues with the idea of the Mavs building around Luka for the future. Now, Dirk hadn't been involved in the day-to-day for 2 years, basically since Dumont bought the team. And he'll tell you, like, I don't have anything to do with this. But don't you think you'd feel a lot better if you privately or through whispers, which we would hear, heard that Dirk had a problem with Luka long-term than just Nico or an anonymous Mavs official? You better be a big problem to be a big enough problem to be moved coming off of a finals appearance on an MVP-level year. And it's just because they were weak. They were cowardly about it.
The conniving nature of Jason Kidd.
Which we always knew was a factor. People grow. People can temper things. But I think you kind of are what you are on that front.
Well, that was stuff we really pointed out hard when he was hired.
Yep.
That's what his whole history was. And,
there is a trending theme here with Nico and Kidd. They are sneaky backstabbing pieces of shit, aren't they? Kidd throws every single player under the bus but himself. Nico trades people in the middle of the dark and laughs about it in a post. Like, these guys are pieces of shit. They really are. And Dumont's just a dumbass. Oh, man. I can't believe, bro. I mean, I believe now, but I just can't believe. Like, we were fooled. We were fooled.
At the end, it was like, okay, I mean, they got to the finals, and I see where they're going to extend Kidd. You might have wondered, is he the guy, X's and O's wise, to do it? Would they ever make a move like Golden State once did with Mark Jackson? Because they were making the playoffs every year and getting better every year. Their record improved every year under Mark Jackson, but they still kind of thought, in the end, this isn't going to work. Here's Steve Kerr. I think this can work a lot better, and it did.
It's bold, but yeah.
But that's also where Jason Kidd does appear to have quite a bit of power here.
Yeah, talk about the monster you created.
You would have thought. I mean, even Rick Carlisle, who I don't think Luka liked Rick Carlisle. But I don't think Rick Carlisle would have ever signed off on this.
Hell no.
He realizes, he's an X's and O's basketball guy that realizes he's, what was it?
Well, Rick Carlisle signed off on Jason Kidd becoming the next head coach instead of Jamal Mosley. I think if the Mavericks would have done their due diligence and hired Jamal Mosley like we all wanted, I think we would be in a different place right now. I truly think we'd be in a different place right now, man.
A week into Luka being on the team where he kind of let him loose and you're running this thing?
Yeah.
He would never do that with a rookie.
Yeah, he knew.
We had criticized him, you're not giving Dennis Smith Jr. enough playing time here as he's a rookie. You're not, he's the old school coach that never, you can't give young player, and then he did it with Luka because he realized this talent is unbelievable.
He held back Roddy B.
He held back Rodrigo Blah.
You say this in jest.
That's what we thought.
No, you're right. And the more we zoom out on this, we're just guessing.
The worse it gets, though.
The worse it gets. I hear things. You hear things one way. You hear things the other. At first, it was like, oh, Nico and Kidd are a package deal. Then you started evaluating the moves, and you start hearing things. It's like, I don't even really know if these guys vibe that much. They kind of just got hired at the same time. But then, we're getting emails from people that are like, hey, I actually played golf with them in Montana together this summer when they were up there visiting Phil. And they spend a lot of time together, and now we've got this where it's a lot of Nico and Kidd, and they're at the. I don't know. I just don't think that it was ever an option, as Blake kind of summed it up with, this is the monster you created. I don't think they were ever going to move on from Jason Kidd while Nico Harrison was GM, ever. It's like now this is just the thing. They're tied together now. Nico's flat out said, this is for the next 3 or 4 years. He does kind of sound like Kidd. So they're not thinking about that. It's a very frustrating read because it just comes down to ego and cowardice.
Yep. Hey man, salute to the Dumb Zone. That was pretty badass. I like the setup. I like the headphones with the talking piece, like the 3 camera angles, like. That's some dope stuff, man. Salute to them. I am going to subscribe to that channel right now. And boom, subscribed. Jake gives us takeaways. So Jake was the main guy talking. Okay. So Jake. So they got Jake, Dan, and Blake. Okay. All right. Let me go follow them on Twitter, too. Yeah. In the description, I'll have their, they are based out of Dallas. Okay. A sports and mostly comedy podcast hosted by Dan McDowell and Jake Kemp. That's dope. I like it. But yeah, man, my takeaways is hearing all the back or the fallout from this damn book is just, I don't know. Are we learning anything new that we already knew, It's just icing on the cake to the things we already knew. And it's frustrating as hell. It is. And I know everyone tells you, if you're coping with this loss, right, you need to move on. You need to stop talking about it. Oh, blah, 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 blah. Well, you need to stop paying attention to us. Like, for those that tell us we need to move on, you don't see us actively looking for people that moved on. We want to talk with people that have not moved on yet. We want to talk to people that are still frustrated. If you want us to move on, bro, you don't even have to tell us. You ain't even got to watch us. You ain't even got to communicate with us. We, as diehard fans of the Mavericks, are so upset that they have ruined the fabric of what it meant to be a fan. And if you don't get it, you don't get it. Because probably you're just a, surface level fan, and that's fine. Teams need those. But when you're talking about the hardcore fan base, they are fucking torn to pieces. And the fact that you're telling us to move on, bro, y'all, the move on crowd, y'all haven't been through what we've been through. So just stop talking to us about that. But anyway, man, it's tough. The more news that comes out, the worser this trade deal and everything about it looks. And nothing's going to change it. Nothing at all. Nothing's going to change it. You're just going to see Luka continue to put up great numbers for the Lakers when it should have been the damn Mavericks, bro. Man, like the Mavericks really had their Michael Jordan, their Kobe to continue the legacy that Dirk started, and they just threw it all away. For what? For what? Anyway, man, it's been your boy TGK. Please leave a like, consider subscribing, consider becoming a member. Hope y'all enjoyed this video. Salute to the Dumb Zone. You'll see their link in the description below. Other than that, appreciate all the suggestions to check this out. This is a good video. I like it. And I like how someone was bold enough to call Nico a pussy. Because that's what he is. Anyway, man, it's been your boy TGK. I'm going to catch y'all on the next one. We out.